You're sitting at your desk, or maybe driving home, and suddenly it hits you. A wave of sharp anxiety, a sudden spike of inadequacy, a deep, heavy loneliness that spreads out and floods your chest before you even know why. When that discomfort strikes, we usually default to one of two reactions. Either we sink into the feeling and let it completely consume us, or we scramble to fix it. We try to think positive thoughts, seek out therapy, or meditate our way to a calmer headspace. These immediate reactions do not come from the present moment. They are driven by ordinary knowledge, our past conditioning, memories, and ingrained habits dictating exactly how we should judge and manage this sudden pain. Treating an everyday, uncomfortable emotion as a problem to be solved guarantees that we stay stuck in it. By constantly fighting the feeling or trying to transcend it, we remain endlessly locked in a struggle against our own mind. What if that sharp feeling of lack is not a psychological defect? What if it is completely unrelated to a distraction from your peace of mind? The practice of self-inquiry takes a very different approach from standard mindfulness. It does not ask you to witness your thoughts from afar, and it explicitly avoids trying to cultivate a relaxed, calm state. To achieve genuine freedom from that pain, you have to relentlessly investigate the exact uncomfortable state you are currently in. You follow the feeling itself to see where it leads within the mind. The practice starts in the body. Before analyzing anything, you anchor your awareness firmly in your physical limbs and your belly. This physical grounding immediately cuts through the looping, conceptual thoughts running through your head. Next, you adopt an active stance called dynamic not knowing. You consciously drop your assumptions. You look at your current anxiety or sadness and actively admit that you do not actually know what it is made of. With that open curiosity, you then separate your current emotional state into two distinct layers. There is the raw, primary experience at the center, and a thick, reactive secondary experience wrapping entirely around it. That secondary layer is loud. It is the voice of your inner critic telling you are weak. It is the heavy self-judgment. It is the desperate, pulsing urge to flee the discomfort at all costs, and it usually drowns out everything else. You do not fight these secondary judgments. You simply notice them, acknowledge they are there, and gently set them aside. By stripping away the commentary, you expose the raw, primary feeling beneath. Dismantling those immediate judgments is the only possible way to expose the true hidden architecture of our psychological pain. With the primary feeling exposed, you introduce the central engine of the practice. You direct a single dynamic question straight into the raw emotion. What is making this happen? That specific question drives your awareness downward, bypassing surface-level thoughts and tracking the emotion down to its deepest root in your nervous system. At the bottom of that descent, the emotion often opens up into a hole, a distinct felt sense of deficiency. It feels like a localized emptiness, as if a quality like love, value, or strength has been missing for a very long time. Our entire human personality and ego structure is unconsciously engineered for a single purpose: to build thick, rigid defenses that prevent us from ever having to feel this specific void again. Here is the most counterintuitive requirement of self-inquiry. You must willfully drop those defenses. You must sit inside this hole and tolerate the acute feeling of total deficiency, making absolutely no attempt to fill it. This willingness to abide in the void is the point where the cycle of emotional reactivity finally breaks. What actually happens to the human mind when we stop fighting our pain and simply exist inside that feeling of total lack? When awareness is held within the whole with pure, non-judgmental curiosity, psychological alchemy takes place. The whole stops acting as a void. In its place, an essential quality emerges. It feels like a different kind of presence, substantial, fluid, and independent of defensive thoughts. This presence isn't something we laboriously build. It arises automatically the moment we stop trying to avoid our pain. This emergence arrives as a literal, deeply felt somatic shift within the physical body. It is not an abstract mental epiphany. A psychological hole of worthlessness transforms into a tangible physical sensation of inherent value. A void of fear becomes the physical texture of unshakable strength. We spend our ordinary lives tied up in knots, exhausting ourselves as we try to manipulate external circumstances to get love and value. But the internal truth operates in reverse. The definitive source of everything we are desperately searching for in the outside world is already buried inside us. It is hidden exactly beneath the very emotions we spend our entire lives trying to escape.